What's up, guys? You are listening to the Mid-State League Weekly podcast, where we cover Harvest Preparatory School athletics. We keep you updated and give you the scores, the stats, updates, and get you caught up on all things HPS. My name is Willie Stimmons, your host. Thank you guys for tuning in on this Sunday around, it's 9:45. Hey, give us a shout out on all social media at MSL Weekly on Twitter, Facebook.com/MSL Weekly. Hit us up on the IG at Willie Stimmons Photography. You can just drop me an email at infoforwillie@gmail.com. That's infoforwillie@gmail.com. We're not going to mess around. We're going to get right into it. Harvest Prep took care of business Saturday night. So that final score was 59-53. Prep. Garaway gave Prep a battle. They took them toe to toe. But the extra 5 minutes was the clincher that we needed to take the next step. But I said earlier in the pregame show that I did at 12 o'clock that this team wanted to get just a slight little edge, and then they're going to play the keep-away game, which they did. They passed the ball round and round and round and round, had us chasing them. Then whoever was open shot the three, and they nailed it. And that's how they stayed in good runnings with us until that extra 5 minutes, and it was a wrap. I think CJ was going isolated one-on-one, and that's, and then, in the inside game, it's the same. Sometimes we run the post-up game because they're too small. Somebody like Elijah Glenn, those guys are too small to handle Elijah in the post. And then even on the isolation, one-on-one, you put CJ Anthony on the isolation, he could take anybody off the dribble. So, but kudos to Harvest Prep. They got two more to go, but you got to take them one at a time. So before I get into all that, we'll take a quick break, guys, and when we come back, we'll just get right into it. We'll break it all down for you. This is the Mid-State League Weekly. My name is Willie Stimmich.
Hi, I'm Beanie Wells. Whatever the sport, wherever it's played, there's one thing that student athletes, coaches, and fans can all share: sportsmanship. The Ohio High School Athletic Association Respect the Game campaign reminds us that school sports are so much more than wins and losses. On behalf of the OHSAA, let's all do our part to make school sports a fun, positive, and rewarding experience that student athletes will remember for a lifetime. Every game, every time, let's all respect the game.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association.
Student athletes are unique, and so are their sports injuries. They need a level of expertise found only at Nationwide Children's Hospital. Our sports medicine experts offer something adult care providers can't: a complete understanding of the student athlete at 8 convenient locations across Central Ohio. To get your student athletes back in the game and keep them there, start by visiting nationwidechildrens.org/sportsmedicine for more information. That's nationwidechildrens.org/sportsmedicine.
Chocolate milk is the official beverage of the Ohio High School Athletic Association. Not only is it delicious, low-fat or fat-free chocolate milk is a great way to fuel up for any activity. Enjoying nutrient-rich foods like chocolate milk and staying active helps you perform your best on the field, on the court, on the track, or anywhere. Because it's packed with good stuff, few beverages are better to fuel up with than low-fat or fat-free chocolate milk. It tastes great and is packed with the same 9 essential nutrients as white milk. Visit drink-milk.com for the facts on chocolate milk.
All right, guys, we're back. Back to break it all down for you. So let's just jump right into it. Harvest Prep defeated Garaway. First period, Prep didn't really score until about 5 minutes and 42 seconds to go in that period. I think Glenn missed a three-pointer and CJ missed a three-pointer, and those guys took advantage of it. Trevor Donaldson with a bucket there, and Malik Schaefer even scored on a couple of buckets, but Prep didn't even. They scored around I think it's a 5-minute 42 mark with C.J. Pena with a good layup there, and then at the 4:34 mark, C.J. Anthony penetrated and scored on the layup. And then we kind of got like a little cold there with some missed layups. see, that's another missed layup right there. And CJ came back in about 2 minutes and 35 seconds. He hit a 3-pointer that took Prep. I think Prep had the lead around that time there. But just to give you the scoring, let me get my sheet here. Yeah, the scoring goes, I see CJ Pena had, let's go with the Garaway. Ethan Roden had 12 points. Eric Miller had 12 points. I see Trevor Donaldson had 10 points. Corey Troyer had 15 points. Austin Farron had 4 points, and didn't nobody else score. Ethan Roden had 9 total rebounds in that game. He was 6 for 7 from the field. He logged 35 minutes, so he basically played the whole game, him and Eric Miller. Miller had 4 total rebounds. Ethan Roden had 2 assists. Trevor Donaldson had 2 assists. And let's see, who else was in this mix here? Corey Troy had 4 assists. And steals, I think Austin Farron had 4 steals in that game. 3-pointers, I don't think, let's see, Eric Miller was 4 for 10 for 3-point line. Trevor Donaldson was 3 for 7 from the 3-point line for the Garaway Pirates. For Harvest Prep, CJ Pena had 11. Elijah Glenn had 2. Christopher Anthony had 18. Sol Hines had 4. Brandon Beavers, he stepped up big. He had 14 points. I think those came late. Ralph Robinson didn't score. Elijah Cumberland had 8. And Raymond Robinson didn't score. Avante Duncan had 2. Avante had 1 steal in that game. CJ Pena had 3 steals. CJ Anthony had 3 steals. Sol Hines had 2. Brandon Beavers had 2. On the boards, CJ, he had 3 defensive boards and 1 offensive board, with a total of 4 rebounds in that game. Elijah Glenn had 2 rebounds. They was on the defensive end. CJ Anthony had 2 rebounds and 1 offensive, 1 defensive. Sol Hines had 4 defensive rebounds. He was big. Total rebounds was 4. Brandon Beavers had 2, 1 on the offense, 1 on the defense. Elijah Cumberland had 3 rebounds, 2 defensive rebounds on top of that. Avante Duncan had 2 rebounds, and they both was on the defensive end. CJ Pena was 1 out of 2 from the 3-point line. Glenn had 2 3-point shots, didn't make either one of them, so he was 0 for 2 from 3-point. CJ Anthony was 1 of 3. Brandon Beavers was 1 of 1. So there's some of your stats there. A total of 59 to 53 was that total score for Harvest Prep over Garaway. I'm going to take you to the second period when I see that this is where, let me look at the actual total. Second period only. CJ Pena only had 2 points in that second period. And Elijah Glenn had 2 points, and CJ Anthony only had 2 points in that second period. So that's what led to the score. I think the score was like total. I think Harvest Prep had a total of 10 points in that second period, with Garaway only had 3. So that was and then those 3 points came with Trevor Donaldson busted 3-pointer. But that was kind of like a slowdown second period. I guess I don't know if the guys was feeling each other, trying to find out, but they know who Harvest Prep was, but they were slowing the pace down. So that's what it was. I mean, they was kind of slowing the pace down, and that's what they only scored 3 points, but they really try to shut down the fast-paced offense of Harvest Prep. So that at halftime, I think it was 21-17 Harvest Prep at the half. So, and basically, CJ only had 5 points at the half. The leading scorer for Harvest Prep was CJ Anthony. He had 8 points at halftime. And Cumberland had 4. Duncan had 2. I think, let's see, it was just Elijah Glenn had 2, and didn't nobody else score by halftime. And those guys didn't start cranking it up to the third quarter. So, and speaking of the third quarter, let me give you the rundown on the third quarter. In the third quarter, CJ Pena came alive. He was 2 of 2 from the field. He had a total of 4 points in that third period. Elijah Glenn didn't score in the third period. C.J. Anthony had 4 points, and Brandon Beavers had 5 points. He came alive in the third period. Isaiah Coleman had 2 in that third period, and but for Garaway, Eric Miller had 9 total points in that third quarter. I think most of those were 3 points. Yeah, he was 3 for 6 from the 3-point line. So most of his scoring came in the third period, and then the fourth period, which was the closer, I think CJ had 2 points, Pena had 2, Anthony had 2, Hines had 2, Brandon Beavers had 6. So Brandon was kind of like in that double figure mark too. But for the Garaway, Ethan Roden had 6 points in that fourth quarter, and Corey Troyer had 6 points in that fourth quarter, and Trevor Donaldson had 3 points in that fourth quarter, which led those guys. Which I think the score was I think they outscored Harvard Prep 15-12 in the fourth quarter, and then that took us to overtime. The overtime period. It started out by a 3-point shot by Christopher Anthony, which made it 51-48 with 3:46 to go in the game in the overtime period. And then Brandon Beavers came back with a 2-pointer, which made it 50. After Ethan Roden scored, they made it 52-50 Harvest Prep, and then Isaiah Coleman came back with an assist by Christopher Anthony. They made it 55-50 with about 1:48 to go in the overtime period. And then there was a steal by Sol Hines about a minute to go, and Sol shot 2 free throw shots, which kind of iced it for Harvest Prep. And so, there you have it. Harvest Prep came out on top. I don't know if I gave you the actual final stats. Yeah, I did give you the final stats. But anyway, C.J. Payne was 4 of 5 in the field. 1 of 2 from the 3-point line. He was 2 of 2 for the free throw. He had 4 rebounds, total of 11 points. He logged 29 minutes, so he actually C.J. Anthony played basically the whole game. He logged 34 minutes. He was 8 for 17 from the field, 1 of 3 from the 3-point line. He was 1 of 4 from the free throw. He had 4 rebounds. He had 2 rebounds, I'm sorry. 2 total rebounds. No, I'm sorry. He had 4 total rebounds. Am I looking at that right? No, it's 2 total rebounds. I'm sorry. He had 18 points. He had 3 steals. And he had 3 assists. And so Hines, 1 for 4 from the field. He didn't hit a 3-pointer. He was 2 of 2 from the free throw line. He had 4 rebounds, which was good. He had a total of 4 points, 1 assist. He had 2 steals in that game. He logged 33 minutes. Then the rest is history here. So there you have it, man. Just go break down the game. I don't have, it's all about Harvest Prep now. There's no Mid-State League to talk about. So your final score, once again, Harvest Prep 59, Garaway 53. So what's up next for these Harvest Prep Warriors? They play Alpha Centric down at the state house in the state finals at the Schottenstein Center. So we're gonna break that down when we come back. Just give you the wrap and the finals, what time the games are played, where they're gonna be played, who's playing who in this D3 semifinal. With that being said, this is the Mid-State League Weekly. We'll take a quick break and we're gonna wrap it up when we come back. So we'll be right back. Okay, guys, this is the Mid-State League Weekly. My name is Willie Stimmich, and we're about to finish strong at the rim, so here we go. We're about to close this thing out. 2018 OHSAA Boys Regional Basketball Tournament Bracket. So we're in the state semifinals now, and this is what it looked like. If you're going down Thursday to the Jerome Schottenstein Center, your first game will be Cleveland Heights Lutheran East. Will be taking on Cincinnati Deer Park. And I tell you what, Cincinnati, the area of Cincinnati is the basketball breeding ground for some good basketball players. There's a lot of schools in Cincinnati, and I think Cincinnati. I haven't seen none of these teams play, but I kind of like the Cincinnati team over the Cleveland Lutheran East. That game is Thursday, March the 22nd at 5:15 at the Jerome Schottenstein Center at the Value City Arena. That game will be first before Harvest Prep kicks off. So Harvest Prep will take it on Afrocentric. That game is Thursday, same day, March 22nd at 8:30. So you got plenty of time to get out there and support your Warriors. That game's at the Jerome Schottenstein Center, the Value City Arena. And if Harvest Prep pull this one out, the state final will be Saturday, March the 24th at 2 p.m. at the Schottenstein Center. So hopefully the Warriors will pull it out. So, kudos to the Warriors. I was hoping when they went into overtime, I said, I just hope this guy don't hit one of these lucky throw up to the rim. It falls in, but hopefully the shot didn't fall. And I said, all Prep need is an extra 5 minutes, and they got it, and they went to work. But, like I said, you can't take no team for granted. Nobody. I said that earlier, and I stick by it. You can't take no team for granted. If you go back and look at all the March Madness, look how many number 1 and number 2 seeds are sitting at home not playing. Cincinnati just lost. I mean, North Carolina is out of it. Michigan State is out of it. I mean, Arizona is out of it. I mean, all your big time. I mean, you got nobody left, but you got Duke, and but and I don't know how I got on that, but I'm just making a point. You can't take no team lightly. You got to come out and set the tone early in the game. And I think if I'm looking at the stat sheet, Garaway actually came out and set the tone early. I mean, when they hit the first 2 or 3 buckets, it's like the crowd got in it, and I looked over and Prep crowd was kind of stunned. You're like, this team gonna be but Harvest Prep grind, and like they usually do, they don't give up. I mean, they go all the way out, and they pulled it out. Kudos to Prep for pulling it out. They've been doing this all year, and like I said, you're 27-0, and you're not 27-0 for. There's a reason why you're 27-0. So keep playing Harvest Prep basketball. Don't change nothing. I mean, that's what got you there, and that's what it's going to continue to keep you there, get you there. So, with that being said, guys, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for tuning in. I just want to give a shout out to the Ohio High School Athletic Association. Thank you, Mr. Ross, if you're still around. I mean, Mr. Ross was a good guy. I met him. Had meetings with him, a pretty good guy. I thank the Ohio Prep Sports Writers Association, which I'm a member of. I want to thank the Harvest Preparatory School Athletic Department for all they've done for me, for the school, for the athletes there. I want to thank Mr. Dave Wolf, and I want to thank Coach Dave Dennis. Kudos to you guys. Good job. And I want to thank you, the listening audience, for listening to me, listening to this podcast. Didn't have much to go over today because it's only one game. I got the prep notes for the prep sheet for either Harvard Prep and Wheelersburg. I couldn't have went over that, but we know that Harvard Prep won that game. They won it 78-60. That was the game, the regional. That was the regional semifinals, I think. Yeah, that was the regional semifinals when Wheelersburg, the guy's name. He scored 35 points. But Harvard's Prep, they don't call Harvard's Prep the Warriors for no reason. These guys are true warriors. They fight, and kudos to them. But thank Harvard's Prep Athletics, and thank Coach Dave Dennis, thank Mr. Dave Wolf, thank the listening audience for listening. And if you missed any show, you can recap it on YouTube, SoundCloud, Twitter, and Facebook. You can download it on YouTube, or you can download it on SoundCloud. So, guys, with that being said, we're going to get out of here. It's been a great week. Looking forward to Thursday. And if you win Thursday, we'll be looking forward to Saturday. And that will put the end on your basketball season. And I don't cover no baseball or track and nothing like that. So I'll probably be out until football season. So, but that's a story for another day. So, with that being said, guys, that's a wrap. Thank you for listening. My name is Willie Stimmage, and this has been the Mid-State League Weekly.